feel are some of the biggest challenges facing Rolla right now?
So challenges I think are all over the country, aside from the whole political polarization issue. Drugs and alcohol and homelessness and poverty, those are issues that are difficult. And Rolla is a community that, again, needs to sort of band together and find solutions. There aren't any ways to solve this. You're not going to take care of it entirely, but we need to love on people, just like we want to build an animal shelter for our unwanted stray animals. Well, we have to take care of those really at the most difficult elements of their life. And what does that look like? Well, that's for the community to decide. You know, we've got the mission doing some good work. We've got Dream Center down on 63. We've got lots of churches and organizations doing things, but we don't have a community that's kind of figured out a way of how do we embrace that and still hold people accountable, right? It's not about just a handout. We've got to give opportunities for a hand up. And I think that's a community solution, but that's going to be one that going forward is only going to get worse. We're dealing with more and more mental health issues, more drug and more complex drug-related issues, and that's going to make all of those things more difficult. Well, that's going to put more pressure on our public safety services, and so finding a way to really be able to support police and fire and dispatch, and that's going to be an important fiscal obligation or task that we have going forward. So I would say that's one. That whole difficult environment that we want to sort of ignore or want to sort of brush aside or incarcerate, well, none of those are really answers. We're going to have to deal with it a bit more directly. Sometimes getting our own hands involved in that kind of work and ministry. I would say some other challenges. It's maybe a build-off or another element of the council stability. We need to be doing a better job of succession planning. And I should have done a better job of that over the last few years, as I knew my retirement was coming. I'm really encouraged by the wonderful city administrator we've hired, Keith Reesberg, but I didn't have in place an assistant city administrator. Even if that's not the next heir apparent, it's somebody who could provide some support and services and take over some of the workload. HR, again, I said we've been doing that through our finance department with city administration and department directors, but we're the size of an organization where we really should have been looking at bringing in some additional HR support and services. Finance department, we just don't have a lot of succession there. So that's going to be one of those challenges going forward. How do we make the budget work, knowing that we need to spend more on good succession planning, retaining good employees, and that's got fiscal challenges associated with it as well. We've begun to do the IT. We need to be investing more in IT and cybersecurity. That's not an area I'm particularly strong in. And so that's going to be a challenge going forward. I think we've put some pieces together to begin investing in that, changing out some of our systems, but there's going to be more work as it just seems like that's becoming attacked in more creative ways all the time. And so a little bit more funding in cybersecurity and fraud prevention, all those kinds of things. Social media is becoming a bigger part of our world, and I see a lot of good comment. I've always accepted or friended anybody that ever asked me from Rolla because I just wanted to sort of understand what was the conversation taking place. There is a tendency on social media, unfortunately, to just go to the negative, go to the nasty criticisms. And I don't mind that on somebody who's personally criticizing me or the city for what we're doing. But a lot of what you say has such an impact on how people from outside of us will perceive the community. So I would just encourage people to be conscious of that. Express your views. No one's asking you to hide that, but be respectful. I mean, if you want to have a respectful community, you have to treat each other respectfully. And I generally see that throughout Rolla. But social media and Facebook, it gives you at least a cover or a screen to sort of hide behind a little bit, and sometimes you say things that you wouldn't otherwise say. So I would just encourage people to be sensitive, be discerning, be thoughtful, disagree, defend your positions, come up with ideas, but do it respectfully. And it seems like we're losing some of that, not just in Rolla, but in society overall. And we need to get back to just some fundamentals of treat others as you would want to be treated.